Hello students, in last class we already studied what is self-induction, how to find out the coefficient of self-inductance for a coil, and what is the self-inductance of a solenoid, then what is the amount of energy stored in a solenoid or a coil due to current flowing through it. The magnetic potential energy, that is half L I naught square. Okay, today we are going to discuss about a new concept that is known as mutual induction, that is same as that of the self induction. Today we are going to discuss about mutual induction. So what is mutual induction? In case of self induction, as we already studied, that if there is a current if there is a single coil within which current starts to flow, it induced a EMF, and due to that EMF it opposed the flow of current within the coil, and that phenomena is known as self-induction. And in this case, what is mutual induction? It is the property of two coils. Okay, it is the property of two coils due to which the change in current in one coil is opposed by another coil by inducing an EMF within it. Clear? So it is the property of two coils. So mutual induction is the property of two coils due to which the change in current in one coil is opposed by another coil by inducing an EMF within it. Clear? That means if here is a coil, or we can say inductor or solenoid, which is connected with a source of battery V, in which some current is flowing, let it be I, and here there is another coil close to it, which is connected to a galvanometer G. So when current I starts to flowing through this coil, the magnetic field linked with this coil increases. The magnetic field lines like this. Clear? Initially when there is no current, there is no magnetic field or magnetic flux linked with this coil, but when current starts to flow through this coil, gradually the magnetic field strength increases, due to which the magnetic field lines increases, and as this coil is placed close to this coil, so initially there is no magnetic field linked with this coil, but when the current I starts flowing through this coil, the magnetic field strength increases, and as the magnetic field strength increases, the magnetic field linked with this coil is also increases, due to which the flux linked with this coil increases. And according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, when flux changes, there will be an induced EMF produced within the coil. So as the current starts to flow within this coil, due to which a magnetic field is produced across this coil, and as the current starts to flow from 0 to I, when current starts to flow from 0 to I maximum, the magnetic field starts to change its magnitude from minimum to maximum. As a result, the flux linked with this coil changes from 0 to maximum, and due to change in flux there will be a induced EMF produced within this coil, and the nature of that induced EMF is what? The nature of this induced EMF will be to oppose the cause of it. So the induced EMF that induced within this coil, as this coil is a closed circuit, it shows some deflection because due to induced EMF, induced current it starts to flowing through this coil, and the induced current will be flow in such a way that it will oppose the cause, and the cause of this induced current will be the current in this coil. That's why this induced current tries to oppose this current within this coil. Clear? This phenomena, due to which current in one coil is opposed by the induced EMF in other coil, is known as mutual induction. Okay, this is the property of a two coil in which the change in current in one coil is opposed by an induced EMF produced in another coil. Clear? So in these two coils, the coil which carries the current, or between these two coils, the coil in which we are allowed to flow the current is known as primary coil. So this coil is generally known as primary coil. So primary coil is the coil in which we are allowed the current to flow, or we supply the current, and the coil which induced an EMF to oppose the current in the primary coil is known as secondary coil. Okay, so this is known as secondary coil S, this is known as primary coil P. So when current starts to flow in primary coil, let this current be IP, I primary, current in primary coil. When the current starts to flow in primary coil, an EMF is induced in the secondary coil, due to which a current IS, current in secondary coil, starts to flow in such a way that it tries to oppose the IP current. Clear? So as current in primary coil increases, the flux linked with the secondary coil increase due to the increase in magnetic field strength. This is the magnetic field produced by the IP current in the primary coil, and due to the magnetic field increases, the flux linked with the secondary coil phi s is also increased. Clear? So we can write the flux linked with the secondary coil is directly proportional to the current flowing through the primary coil. As the current in the primary coil increases, the magnetic field strength due to the primary coil increases, due to which the flux of primary coil increases, and the flux of primary coil increases, which is also linked with the secondary coil. That's why the flux linked with the secondary coil also rises. So the flux linked with the secondary coil is depends upon the current in the primary coil. That's why we can write the flux linked with the secondary coil is directly proportional to the current in the primary coil, or this implies you can write the flux linked with the secondary coil is equal to some constant of proportionality M into current linked with the primary coil, where M is known as coefficient of mutual induction. Or mutual inductance. Clear? So flux in secondary coil is equal to mutual inductance into current in primary coil. Clear? And we can also write it as we already discussed here, if the current is flowing in this coil which is known as primary coil, IP is flowing, the flux linked with the secondary coil changes, where a galvanometer is connected to detect the induced current. Here IS be the induced current, and this is the phi x flux. So you can write phi s equal to M into IP. Or if we apply current to the secondary coil, in place of primary coil, if you are applying the current to the secondary coil, then also the flux linked to the primary coil changes, due to which an EMF is induced in the primary coil. So we can also write that the flux linked to the primary coil is also equal to the mutual inductance of the two coils into current in the secondary coil. Clear? We can write the flux linked to the secondary coil equal to mutual inductance of these two coils into current in the primary coil, or flux linked with the primary coil can also be written as mutual inductance of the two coils into current in the secondary coil. So you have to remember that here M, the mutual inductance of the two given coils, is a bidirectional coefficient Bidirectional means what? This coefficient can relate the flux of secondary to the current in primary, and also this relate the current in the secondary to the flux of primary. This is same for both the coils, okay? And you have to also remember that it also depends on the geometry and material of coils. Okay, the mutual inductance M depends upon the geometry and materials of the coils. These two coils which are used, the mutual inductance of these two coils depends upon their geometry and materials. Clear? So what is mutual inductance? Now we can define that. Mutual inductance or coefficient of mutual induction. So what is mutual inductance? As you already studied that the flux linked to the secondary coil equal to mutual inductance of both the coils into current in the primary coil. Clear? So this implies you can write the mutual inductance M equal to phi S by IP. So here we can write its definition. The mutual inductance of two coils is defined as flux linked with the secondary coil due to unit current flowing through the primary coil. Okay. So when unit current is flowing through the primary coil, at that instant what is the amount of flux linked with the secondary coil will be equal to what? The mutual inductance of both the coils. You have to remember this definition. The flux linked with the secondary coil due to unit current flowing through primary coil. Clear? And also in as we know, the induced EMF E in secondary equal to minus d phi S by dt. The induced EMF in the secondary equal to minus d phi, the flux change in flux in secondary with respect to time. So this implies we can write from this phi S will be what? M into IP. So induced EMF in secondary equal to minus d by dt of, in place of phi S we can write M into IP. That is mutual inductance of both the coil into current in the primary coil. So this can be written as the induced EMF in secondary coil equal to minus M into dip by dt, because M is the constant. So from this we will get, this implies the mutual inductance of both the coil M equal to ES divided by minus dip by dt. Clear? So from this we can write the mutual inductance of the coil, both the coils, is defined as the induced EMF produced in the secondary coil per unit rate of decrease in current in the primary coil. Minus di by dt means what? Di by dt is the change in current in primary coil, and negative means the decrease. So the mutual inductance also of both the coils can also be defined as the induced EMF produced in the secondary coil due to unit rate of decrease in current in the primary coil. Clear? So from this we can write also another statement of the mutual inductance, that the mutual inductance of two coils is defined as the amount of induced EMF in the secondary coil due to unit rate of decrease in primary current. Okay, so the mutual inductance of two coils is defined as the amount of induced EMF in the secondary coil due to unit rate of decrease in primary current. Clear? This is also another definition of mutual inductance, and this is another definition of mutual inductance. So from here we can write the induced EMF in secondary coil equal to M into dIP by dt minus. Clear? Or else similarly you can write the induced EMF in primary coil is equal to mutual inductance into change in rate of current in secondary coil. Clear? As here we can write phi is equal to M into IP. This also can be written as phi in the flux linked with primary coil is equal to the mutual inductance of both the coil into current in the secondary coil. As mutual inductance is a bidirectional coefficient, it can relate both flux in primary with current in secondary and also current in primary to flux with secondary. Clear? So you have to remember this formula that the flux linked with primary equal to mutual inductance into current in secondary, or the induced EMF in secondary equal to mutual inductance into the negative rate of change of current in primary, and same as that of the induced EMF in primary equal to negative rate of change of current in secondary with mutual inductance of both the coils. Clear? And same as that of self inductance, mutual inductance also have dimensional formula Henry. So the dimensional formula of mutual inductance M equal to same as M1 L2 T minus 2 A minus 2 as that of self inductance, and unit is Henry in SI system. Clear? Okay, so this is have the dimension from M1 L2 T minus 2 A minus 2, and unit is SI, unit of the mutual inductance is Henry. Clear? So now let's discuss mutual inductance of two coaxial solenoids. So let's here we are considering two coaxial solenoids, that means the axis of the solenoid is common. Okay, this is another primary coil which is connected with a source. And here is another solenoid. Is connected with a galvanometer. Okay, these are two coaxial solenoids. This is the current flowing in the black one is the primary coil, let it be current flowing through this IP, and the red one is the secondary. This is known as secondary. This is primary. Okay, so when we are allowing current flowing through the primary, both the coils have same length, that is small l. Okay, and both, this is the axis of both the solenoids, and both have same radius, small r. Clear? They are two solenoids of length L, equal length, and radius small r. The one which is connected to a source for which current IP is flowing through it is known as primary coil or primary inductor or solenoid, and the one which is attached with a galvanometer is known as secondary coil or secondary solenoid. Okay, so here NP equal to number of turns per unit length of primary coil. Clear? And NS equal to number of turns per unit length of secondary coil. Clear? Let IP be the current allowed to flow through the primary coil, denoted by P. Clear? IP be the amount of current which is allowed to flow through the primary coil P. So what will be the magnetic field produced by this primary coil? So the magnetic field due to the primary coil will be how much? If it is a solenoid, IP current is flowing through it, so the magnetic field strength BP will mu naught number of turns NP into IP. This will be the value of what? Magnetic field produced by the solenoid which is known as primary coil or primary solenoid. So mu naught is the absolute permeability, NP is the number of turns per unit length of the primary coil, IP is the current flowing through it. So this much will be the magnetic field produced by the primary coil, and due to this magnetic field, what is the magnetic flux linked to the secondary coil? So the magnetic flux linked with a single turn of the secondary coil, the magnetic flux linked with a single turn of secondary coil is, let it be phi s, will be how much? The magnetic field due to the primary coil, that is BP, into the area of a single turn, that is pi r square. So this implies the flux linked with secondary coil S will be how much? Mu naught NP IP into pi r square is what? Area, let it be A. Okay, so this is the expression for flux linked to the single turn of the secondary coil. So what is the total number of turns of the secondary coil? Total number of turns of secondary coil is capital NS equal to number of turns per unit length, NS number of turns of secondary coil per unit length, NS into length of the secondary is small l. So this is the total number of turns of the secondary coil, number of turns per unit length into length of the secondary coil. So this implies the flux linked to the secondary coil phi s net will be equal to how much? Mu naught NP IPA into total number of turns, that is NS into L. Clear? So this is the net flux linked with the secondary coil due to current flowing in the primary coil. This is the current flowing in the primary coil. So as we already know, so from this we can write, as we know, The net flux in secondary coil equal to mutual inductance into current in primary coil. So this implies comparing these two with this and this, we will get what? The magnetic coefficient of mutual inductance M will be equal to how much? IP, and IP will taken common. The remaining portion will be M, that is mu naught NP NS A into L. Clear? This is the coefficient of mutual induction or mutual inductance of two coaxial solenoid. From this we can also write the coefficient of mutual inductance M equal to mu naught number of turns per unit length of primary, number of turns per unit length of secondary into volume, V into L equal to volume of the solenoid. So this is the expression for mutual inductance, and it is common for both primary and secondary. It is the property of two pairs of coils. Clear? And it is depend upon the nature or the geometry and the material used to manufacturing these two pairs, or the pair of these two coils is have the same mutual inductance. Clear? So this is the expression for mutual inductance of two coaxial solenoid. Okay, understood? So in two coaxial solenoid we have to find out one primary and one secondary coil. Primary is the coil in which we are applying the current to flow, and secondary is the coil in which an induced EM is produced, due to which an induced current is flowing through it, which is shown by a galvanometer. And as primary coil is allowed to flow a current IP, due to this current a flux is changed or linked with the secondary coil will get changed, that is phi s, and by this relation we will get the mutual inductance of these two coaxial solenoids, which will be this much. Okay, and here if the core of these two coaxial solenoid is some other medium except the air core, then the expression for mutual inductance of these two coil will be how much? M equal to, in place of mu naught there will be the permeability of the medium, which can be written as mu R mu naught NP NS into volume of these two coaxial solenoid. When there is some other core except air, then this will be the expression for the mutual inductance of two coaxial solenoids. Clear? So next we are going to discuss what is coefficient of coupling. So next we are going to discuss that what is coefficient of coupling. Denoted by capital K. Okay, it is the fraction of magnetic flux linked with one coil due to another coil. Clear? So coefficient of coupling is what? It is the fraction of magnetic flux linked with one coil due to another coil. Okay, if in primary coil current is flowing due to which a magnetic flux produced, and the fraction of the magnetic flux produced by the primary coil linked with the secondary coil will define what? The coefficient of coupling, and it is defined by the coefficient of coupling is defined as K equal to M divided by under root Ls into Lp. This is the expression for what? Coefficient of coupling. Clear? What is M? M equal to mutual inductance of both coils. Ls equal to self inductance of secondary coil. and LP equal to self inductance of primary coil, and K is known as coefficient of coupling. So it defines the fraction of magnetic flux linked with one coil due to another coil. Clear? And its value generally lies between 0 to 1. Okay, when K equal to 0, the coils are very loosely wounded. When K equal to 1, when K will be 1, M equal to under root Ls by Lp, M equal to root over of Ls into Lp when K equal to 1. So the coils are very closely wounded. Okay, so when K equal to 0, the coils are very loosely wounded, and when K equal to 1, the coils are very closely wounded. Clear? But in practically, the value of coefficient of coupling lies between 0 to 1. Okay, clear? Okay students, so now we are going to discuss about the method to how to produce induced EMF in a coil due to its orientation in an external magnetic field. We already studied about how to produce induced EMF in a coil by changing the magnetic field strength. Then we will study how an induced EMF is produced in a coil by changing its area linked with the magnetic field, and now we are going to discuss how an EMF is induced when the area of the coil remains fixed, the magnetic field strength also remains fixed, but the coil is rotating in the external magnetic field. That means the angle between the area vector and the magnetic field strength vector will changes with respect to time, because we already know that flux, the magnetic flux linked with the coil is defined as BA cos theta. B is the magnetic field strength, A is the area, and theta is the angle between B vector and A vector. We already discussed if we change B with respect to time, then flux will change with respect to time, due to which according to Faraday law an EMF is induced in the coil. And if we change area, if area is a function of time which is changed with respect to time, then also the flux changes, and due to which we get an induced EMF in a coil. Now we are discussing if theta is changes with respect to time, then also we get an induced EMF in a coil. That is, we will discuss induced EMF in a coil due to orientation or rotation. Induced EMF in a coil due to its rotation in an external magnetic field. Okay, so for this, let's consider there is an external magnetic field which is acting vertically outward to the plane like this, denoted by the dots. Okay, the strength of the magnetic field is B naught, which is acting out of the plane. Clear? And there is a coil okay, this coil is present inside the magnetic field, let having the name P Q R S. Okay, it's a rectangular coil present in the external magnetic field which is acting out of the plane. Clear? So let at t equal to 0, at t equal to 0 second, that means initially the area vector A and the magnetic field strength are parallel to each other. and both are out of the plane. Clear? Here the magnetic field B naught is always out of the plane. Clear? And at t equal to 0, the coil is in such a way that its area vector is also out of the plane. Both B vector and area vector both are parallel to each other. As this is a rectangular coil, at this position, the area vector as t equal to 0, the A vector is also out of the plane. Both are parallel to each other. So what is the flux initially linked with the coil? Phi I will be how much? B vector dot A vector, or this can be written as B A cos theta, or this will be written as B A. What is cos theta? Theta is the angle between area vector and magnetic field strength, and initially both area vector and magnetic field strength are parallel to each other, so it will be cos 0. So this implies phi initial equal to B A. Clear? If there are n number of turns, n number of turns of the coil, then phi initial equal to net will be equal to n into phi initial due to 1. This is the flux linked with 1 turn. So for n number of turns, it will be how much? N B A. This is the initial flux, net flux linked with what? The coil. So at any instant of time, if it is allowed to rotate it about an axis with angular velocity omega. Okay, initially the coil is like this position at t equal to 0, for which the flux linked with the coil will be this much. Now the coil is allowed to rotate about an axis xy, which is passing through the coil parallel to its plane. So what will be the flux linked with this coil at any instant t? Clear? Initially the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the external magnetic field which is acting out of the plane. So the flux linked with the coil will be this much, that is the maximum value of the flux linked with the coil. But now the coil is rotated about an axis xy, which is passing through its plane with an angular velocity omega. Then the coil will start to rotate, so at each and every instant the angle between the area vector, which is initially along the external magnetic field direction, will start to vary. So at any instant, what is the value of flux linked with this coil? So now we have to calculate that. Let the coil is allowed to rotate about an axis xy with angular velocity omega. Clear? Then at any instant of time t second, the angular displacement covered by the coil is how much? The angular displacement theta will be the angular velocity into time interval, that is for t second. So theta will be omega t. So this will be the angle covered by the coil. So initially the coil is like this. After t second, as it is rotating anti-clockwise, the coil position will be like this. And this angle rotated by the coil will be theta. And now the area vector will be along this direction, perpendicular to the coil. So initially it is like this. Now the area vector will be along this direction. Clear? As the coil rotated by an angle omega t, the area vector is also rotated by an angle omega t. Clear? So what will be the value of flux linked with the coil? Now the flux linked with the coil is phi at any instant T will be how much? B A cos theta. So this implies phi at any instant T will be B, the external magnetic field B naught into area of the coil A in place of theta. What is the angular displacement covered by the coil? That is omega t. And this also if initially the area vector and magnetic field are along same direction. If the coil rotates at an angle theta equal to omega t, the area vector is also rotated by an angle theta equal to omega t. That's why the angle between area vector and the external magnetic field also this much. So here it will be written as cos omega t. Clear? So here we will get the flux linked with the coil is a function of time which varies with the variation of time. That's why we already know when the flux linked with the coil is a function of time. That means we will change the flux linked with the coil with respect to time. That's why an EMF is induced within it according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So as here the flux linked with the coil at any instant t is this much, and as we change the time, instantaneous time, the flux linked with the coil will be changed. So the induced EMF E will be equal to minus d phi t by dt according to Faraday law. So this implies induced EMF will be minus d by dt of, in place of phi t we can write b naught a cos omega t. So this will be the expression for induced EMF. So what is the induced EMF within the coil at any instant t? So by differentiating this with respect to time, we will get the induced EMF E equal to minus d by dt of B A naught A cos omega t. So B naught A cos omega t, here B naught A is constant, taking out B naught A minus B naught A into d by dt of cos omega t. So this implies cos omega t with respect to dt will be minus B naught A omega cos omega t will be differentiated minus sin omega t, so it will become plus sin omega t. So this will be the induced EMF E equal to B naught A omega sin omega t. So this is the induced EMF due to one turn of the coil, as there are n number of turns. So the net induced EMF is E equal to E net will be equal to n B naught A omega sin omega t. This is the expression for net induced EMF, and from this expression we also get that the induced EMF within the coil is also a function of time t. That means the induced EMF, magnitude of the induced EMF is also changing with respect to time. Clear? So if here we are putting different values of the instantaneous time, we will get different values of the induced EMF, and this is the expression for induced EMF within the coil due to change in its flux at any instant of time t, and this can also be written as E induced equal to E naught sin omega t, where E naught is equal to n B naught A omega, which is maximum value of induced EMF or peak value of induced EMF. Clear? You have to remember this. E naught is the maximum value or peak value of induced EMF, whose value is equal to n B naught A omega, as we already discussed initially. When the angle between area vector and magnetic field strength are along same direction or zero, this will be the expression for maximum induced, maximum flux linked with it, and this will be the expression for what? The maximum induced EMF within the coil. Clear? Or it is known as a peak value of induced EMF, and this is the expression for induced EMF at any instant of time t, because as your t varies, the induced EMF will varies. So this is how induced EMF is produced in a coil due to its orientation in an external magnetic field, and how the value of induced EMF changes. Now let's Calculate the value of induced EMF for different value of the instantaneous time. So from this it's a sine function. So let's draw a table first for different values of time. Okay, here we are taking the instantaneous time and here the induced EMF. Okay, so initially if the instantaneous time is total time, so the time period of the coil, that means the total time required by the coil to complete one cycle, one rotation, that is known as the time period of the coil, which is defined as, if omega is the angular velocity, the time period will be 2 pi by omega. Clear? To complete the one cycle by this rotating coil, the time required by the coil will be known as the time period of the coil. If the omega is the angular velocity, the time period of the coil will be t equal to 2 pi by omega. So when the instantaneous time t equal to t by 4, that means 1/4 of the total time interval. What is the value of E? So as we know here, t equal to 2 pi by omega. So t by 4 will be equal to how much? Or from this we will get omega equal to how much? 2 pi by t. Clear? If t time period equal to 2 pi by omega, so t equal to 2 pi by omega, so omega equal to 2 pi by t. So from this, at instantaneous time, this is the value of instantaneous time, which is equal to t by 4. So putting here t equal to t by 4, we will get sine the value of omega t is equal to, what is omega? 2 pi by t. Into, in place of t we can write how much? T by 4. So it will be how much? Pi by 2. So E naught sine pi by 2. What is the value of sine pi by 2? Sine 90, 1. So E will be E naught maximum. Then when time period equal to 2t by 4. So what is the value of omega t? Omega equal to 2 pi by t, into, in place of t you can write 2t by 4. So it will be how much? 2 into 2, 4. 4 cancel, t cancel. So omega t will be how much? Pi. Sin pi will be how much? 0. So E will be 0. Then 3t by 4. So what is the value of omega t? 2 pi by t into 3t by 4. So it will be t will cancel, 3 pi by 2 or 270 degree. So what is sine 270? It is minus E naught, minus 1. Clear? Then t, after a complete time interval t. So what is the value of omega t? 2 pi by t into t will be this much t. So 2 pi, sine 2 pi will be how much? Again 0. So the value will be again 0. So this is the table for the induced EMF produced in the rotating coil, which varies with respect to time, as this: maximum, then 0, then maximum in negative direction, then 0. If we plot the graph like this, okay, here I am taking the instantaneous time t and here is the induced EMF E. So when by differentiating, when t equal to 0, then t here equal to t by 4, then t equal to t by 2, here t equal to 3t by 4, again t equal to t, for different values of the instantaneous time. At t by 4 the value is E naught, and again at initial we will put 0 time period t, or we starting initially. Here I am writing another portion. If t equal to 0, what is the value of E? At t equal to 0, if I am putting here t equal to 0, it will be 0, sine 0 will be 0. So at time t equal to 0, the value of induced EMF is 0. So it will be start from here 0. And at t equal to t by 4, it is E naught. So it will be like this. Then 0, then negative maximum, then 0. So here it is the value is E naught, and here it will be the value of minus E naught. So this is the expression for induced EMF E, with respect to the instantaneous time t, which is varies with respect to time, and the direction and magnitude of both are changes. Here it is positive, then it is negative. So E naught minus E naught, E naught minus E naught 0, again E naught minus E naught. Clear? So that's why the induced EMF within the coil it changes with respect to time alternatively. That's why this is known as alternating induced EMF, and this is also the cause to produce alternating current in a circuit that we will study in next class. As this is the value of induced EMF, if R is the resistance of the coil, then the induced current I will be how much? E by R, which is equal to E naught by R into sine omega t. So this is also the expression for the induced current, which is also varies like this with respect to time. That's why this is also known as an alternating current. Clear? So this is how an EMF is induced, which is a time varying function due to the rotation of a coil in an external magnetic field. Clear? In this case, the magnetic field strength remain constant, the area remain constant, but the angle between area vector and magnetic field strength changes with respect to time. That's why we get an EMF induced within the coil, which also varies with respect to time. Clear? So this is also another one method to calculate induced EMF or produce induced EMF. Okay.